Hey everybody, meteorologist Brad Panovich here with an update on Isaias, which is not really doing all that well this morning. There's a small window for the storm to become a brief hurricane again, but that window looks to be closing pretty quickly, especially based on what we're seeing from the recon today. Wide view shows us a lot of what is going on right now. So obviously here's our tropical storm. You can see it's getting stretched out. What I mean by that is we've got clouds moving north and also south, so it's getting stretched out, elongated this way. That's mainly an influence of this trough digging in. We've also had some big time heavy rain in the mountains and foothills of North Carolina. That's the actual trough coming in and a stalled frontal boundary. So actually not directly associated with Isaias, but it is supplying some moisture up there interacting with the front and the trough. But you can kind of tell that the trough is definitely imposing its will on the system. Now let me show you a close-up view, and I could show you some of the inner structure is not really all that great. The low-level circulation is right in here. That's where the hurricane hunters are finding it. It's all exposed. There's no thunderstorms near it. There's nothing on the southwest side. They're all in this arc to the north and northeast. In fact, the hurricane hunters have been finding the strongest winds out here in these bands on the northeast side. That'll be important because that'll stay offshore up until it gets up here towards areas of North Carolina. And that's why North Carolina still has a hurricane warning in effect for a big chunk of the coast. So let me show you the reconnaissance because they've been flying in and out of there. Now, these are the last two pressure readings. We'll have to see if this holds true, but that's a weakening system. The pressure has come up quite a bit to 1,001 and 1,000 millibars, and you can see where they're searching for the center, and look at the wind field. That's where the winds are spinning counterclockwise. The big thunderstorms up here, there's no rotation. There's no low-level center, and the mid-level rotation looks like it's up in here now. But look at those winds out here. See how far displaced they are on the right side of the storm. So let's go over the track from this morning. There probably won't be much of an update to the track, probably more so the intensity. You can see the track making it to the northeast. It's eventually going to cross the North and South Carolina border. So from about just south of Myrtle Beach here down towards areas towards Georgetown, and then up towards Cape Fear and the Wilmington area. So you see that area in red, that's where the hurricane warning is in effect, just in case it becomes a hurricane. And I should caution you, the difference between a weak hurricane and a strong tropical storm is literally 4 miles per hour of wind. So the impacts really don't change. I know it seems like a bigger deal when it's a hurricane, but you're talking 70 and 74 miles per hour. That's the difference. So just remember that. The overall impacts don't change much. But you can see the track pretty tightly clustered. I don't expect to see much change in this track. It could wiggle a little bit left and right, but notice the wiggle room is pretty small. The bigger story is like, where does it make landfall? A lot of people ask me that. Impossible to say because of the shape of the coast. I mean, the coast does this, you know? So if the storm moves a little bit left, it could make landfall here. If it moves a little bit right, it could be up here. If it stays in the middle, it's going to be somewhere in here. So the shape of the coast actually sometimes determines more where we get landfall than anything else. So let me show you some of the impacts. All right, just to recap, here's all the watches and warnings. You see all the tropical storm warnings, and there's that hurricane warning I was talking about for that small section of the North and South Carolina border. So let's go over some of the timing here. We'll start first down in South Carolina. The reason Hilton Heads is not showing up here is because, at least right now, based on the forecast, we're not expecting tropical storm force winds there. It's just a little bit too far to the west to see that. Charleston, Folly Beach, Kiowa Island, all this evening. So you're probably talking, you know, probably 8, 9 o'clock this evening, 10 o'clock. Georgetown, 9, 10, 11. Myrtle Beach, probably closer to midnight and even into the early morning hours. So midnight to like 2 a.m. up towards Sunset Beach. So let me show you North Carolina, Holden Beach. This is all looking like more towards Tuesday morning. Look at 9 a.m. there. So after midnight tonight. Oak Island, because it's going to be very close to where the center is going to come ashore, probably has the best chance of seeing a hurricane force wind. But I think that's a little bit overdone. And just to show you the probabilities of seeing those tropical storm force winds, this is an updated track. You can kind of see Myrtle Beach to Wilmington is definitely the area that will see the highest risk of seeing tropical storm force winds. But the hurricane force winds, also only 1 to 2%. So that's not really huge amount. So as far as impacts are concerned, I think flash flooding is going to be our biggest issue. You can see the high risk for flash flooding right along the track tonight through early tomorrow. And then on Tuesday, that extends up into Virginia, the DC area, and then up into New Jersey, and even up into the New York area. So you can see that threat for heavy rain is right there. And I'll show you this view quick just to show you the swath of that heavy rain. That's kind of where I expect it to go. So let's do the future cast because I think always like to see this. I'll do it slow here. So this is 5 p.m. tonight. Coming to shore somewhere 9, 10, maybe 11. And notice how it's that big arc of clouds. It's not a complete circle, so it's still open on the south side. But this arc to the north is going to be pretty nasty. It's going to have winds probably 60, 70 miles per hour and extremely heavy rain because what's happening is this trough is coming in. The northern side is interacting with that trough and is going to get the most lift. The efficient rainfall is going to fall on that northern side. That's why right along the track, you can see as it moves up, by tomorrow morning, it's heading into Virginia. And as we go into Tuesday afternoon, it's up in D.C., and then up into New York, and then eventually up into Canada by early Wednesday. So you can see that thing is absolutely flying once it gets inland. But it is going to produce a ton of heavy rain. And just to show you some of the guidance, this is an ensemble mean of the rainfall forecast. That purple area generally right there along the track from South Carolina, North Carolina to Virginia is anywhere from 4 to as much as it looks like 7 inches of rain. So there could be a significant swath. And just to show you what the WPC's forecast, and generally the same thing right along that swath. As far as wind, you could see along and east of the track is where the strongest winds are. I think these are a little overdone down here where we have the 70, 75, but this is like the highest end wind gust you're likely going to see. Gusts 60, 70 miles. And notice back towards the Charlotte area, we're barely going to know that a tropical system is out there. Okay, let's talk about surge because this is important. Some of the biggest surge amounts will be down here near Charleston, which floods pretty easily. But north of there, an area that actually can stand this flooding because this is mostly, coastal reserve and national forest down there. Pawleys Island up towards Murrells Inlet, probably some pretty good surge. Myrtle Beach, there will be some high water. We go to Bald Head Island. Out here, Oak Island, you could see some surge. And then up into the Outer Banks. The Outer Banks will get a pretty good overwash, it looks like, because that onshore flow is probably going to bring 2 to 4 feet of water and probably overwash the dunes. And then obviously it's going to get pushed up into some of the sounds here. And on the backside, there could be a little bit of sound side flooding on the other side of the Outer Banks, but because it's moving so fast and it's short-lived, it probably will not be that extreme. I think it's really going to be the ocean side here with the overwash, and really just because the waves are just going to keep building and building and building. So kind of what you would expect out there with a fast-moving kind of nor'easter type system moving up the coast. But again, I think the biggest surge will be right here. So again, I'm waiting for the updated track to come in here at 11. If you look at it right now, this is a great view because it shows the radar and satellite together. The center is in there somewhere. I doubt it's going to be a hurricane like they're forecasting. And then it's going to move northeast. And notice we've got some rain bands. These are probably, you could say these are associated with Isaias because they're coming in. This actually is not really associated with Isaias. This is actually the stalled front sitting back to the north and west. And so some flooding going on in the mountains and foothills. Some moisture helping them out, but completely different mechanism going on right there. So let me show you the loop one more time. We'll go back to the loop here because I wanted to show you the water vapor just to show you the strength of that trough coming down. You can see it digging all the way down to New Orleans and that southwesterly flow just cranking up and pushing off in that direction. So we'll see if the hurricane hunters find anything more impressive out there. I don't think they are because just looking at it, it doesn't look like anything is cranking up real quickly there. Let me go back to this view because I love seeing this view. I don't see it getting more organized here. The only thing that could help it right now, and this is just if this does happen, if it starts moving northeast, it will start moving with the southwest shear. In that case, the shear might not be as big a deal. So keep an eye on that. If it is going to perk up, it's over that very warm Gulf Stream right now. That move to the north-northeast might actually help it out a little bit, but it's really running out of time for that to happen, especially when you look at it. It's just really disorganized this morning, and the hurricane hunters aren't finding anything too strong. Of course, I will post updates. I got a ton of graphics I will be throwing up through time. Check my page. I'll be at work today posting everything, and I'll probably do a Facebook Live tonight as the storm gets closer to the coast.